Okay, hi everyone. It's 10 o'clock, so let's get started. So welcome to a Bowls Victoria BowlsLink training webinar. This is the second webinar in our membership module series. So it's great to see so many people in our first one, and really overwhelmed by the attendance we have today. Just having a look at our attendees, we're up to 110 people on today's session. So a big thank you to everyone who's joined this morning, and it's great to see that you're willing to help your club and improve. And it's also a sign for Bowls Victoria that we need to provide a lot more of this training. So that will be one of my big jobs. All right, let's get into a little bit of housekeeping. So, sorry, I'll introduce myself first. My name is Matt Ottobre. I'm the Club Education and Training Manager at Bowls Victoria. And today we're lucky to have a co-host, Mel Allen. Mel is our Communications and Marketing Manager at Bowls Victoria, and we both actually started on the same day at Bowls Victoria. Some housekeeping. Those people who attended last session would know that what you're viewing today through Zoom is probably very different to what you normally would see when you're on your meetings. Today is a webinar. So Zoom likes to say that it's like sitting in a theatre and watching a show. So you won't be able to have access to talking, and you won't be able to see each other's videos. We do have a question and answer part down the bottom. So that's really important. If you have any questions that you would like answered throughout this today's session, Mel will follow a lot of those questions while I'm presenting, and then we can talk about a lot of them at the end. We are recording today's webinar, so the beauty of Zoom is that we can record this and then we can add it to our website, and I'll show you our website a little bit later on in the session, but that's where I'd like you to go for all your resources. Okay, and probably one other little bit of housekeeping is my picture. You might need to move that a little bit. A lot of action seems to happen in the top right-hand corner. So you might want to just move me over a little bit. All right, let's get into our learning intentions for today's webinar. So today's webinar is all about email campaigns. I didn't touch on that in the first webinar, so I decided that today's webinar would be all about how we can use the email campaign facility in BowlsLink to communicate with our members. I've been a club secretary at my club for a few years, and I know how important communication is. So hopefully today we can give you some training on how to access email campaigns and use that successfully at your club to communicate with all your members. So I'm going to revisit firstly what member groups is, which we did touch on in the first webinar. We're going to look at how easy it is to access the email campaigns in your BowlsLink portal. Then we'll look at how to create an email from scratch using templates. I'll touch on how you can define who will receive the email. We'll look at scheduling. So there's a couple options. There's either send now or send later. There is an insight feature, and Mel might talk a little bit about this when she comes on. But insight is looking at how many people have opened the emails. So there's some great facilities there to see how successful your emails are and how you can improve. And then, as I mentioned, we'll bring in the expert Mel, and Mel's going to give us some hints and tips on probably the marketing part of our emails and maybe some technical side. All right, I think we're ready to start. Okay, first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to log into my BowlsLink account. Obviously, I'm going to use my email address and my password. Okay, just a reminder from last session, you should be logging in as the club administrator. Don't use your My Clubs one. That's more for entering teams and entering results. So most of you I see are club administrators, so you should have that access. If you don't have access and your club would like you to have that access, there is a form you can fill in at Bowls Victoria and we can give that access to you. So I'm going to click on as club administration. I'm actually in the live version of BowlsLink today because the beta hasn't had some updates put in there, so it's not fully working the way I would like. So you're actually looking at my club, Hawthorn Bowling Club. I'm sure my members won't mind. So I talked about member groups. So member groups is over here, groups and categories. Now categories, this is where you allocate the playing rights, which I mentioned in the last webinar. And you'll notice that I have a category in here called social member non-playing. And I did get an email earlier today, what do we do with our social members? Do we put them into the system? And my answer would be yes, because for a while we haven't been tracking who our social members are. And I would like to be sending emails out to them using today's facility. And I'd also like to know who they are. So I would be having that, but you'll see my social member non-playing doesn't have any playing rights. It has a red dot there, where I do have some social members who are playing regularly. So I have given them playing rights. Member groups, we talked about that last session, sorry, not last week. This is going to be really relevant to today's session, because this is the groups that you set up from your members to send emails to. Now, I have created 2 groups prior to today. I created one, which is all members. So I want everyone, I want my social members, I want my playing members to get our newsletter and information, and also set up a test group. One thing I did realize that these groups do not go straight into your email campaigns. I'll show you your list of subscribers a little bit later on. So allow at least 24 hours. I know there's a code that runs overnight. So if you're setting up a group, just be prepared that they won't go straight in. You need to allow at least a day. Now, if they're not going in, you can obviously contact us at Bowls Victoria, but you can also go down to the green button down the bottom and request support. And I'd be logging that as a bug. So then our developers, Savage Bull, they'll have to respond to that ticket. So if you're noticing that your email channels are not going through, log that. Now, it does say email channel there. That means that I can send an email to this group. How we add groups is up here, add member group, and I can decide whether that group's going to have an email channel or not. I've had a lot of questions, why would you create a group without a channel? And I wouldn't be using it, but some clubs are. Okay, so that's all about member groups, because that will come into some of the work we do today. How do we access email campaigns? Pretty simple. Over here on the left-hand side menu, and we click on email campaigns. Now, for a lot of you, I know you're not using email campaigns because a lot of you don't have member groups. Your screen when you first log on is going to look slightly different. It's going to look like this. And you're going to have to request admin account. Really simple, only takes about a minute. You just click the blue button and then you'll be straight into it. So you don't have to do anything further. It's done within BowlsLink. You don't have to send a form off, just click the blue button and allow about a minute, and then you should be straight into your email campaign. So obviously I've requested the account, and this is what it looks like for me. Up the top, we have campaigns. So this is where you create your emails. We have lists and subscribers. Now this is your email channels. BowlsLink will do a general one, all your members, but you can see that my 2 campaign channels that I set up in my member groups have now come into here. Now, if I was in the class here, I'd be asking, I have 81 members in my club. Why have I only got 35 subscribers? I'm not in the classroom, so I'm going to answer it. It basically means that there's over 70 members. That's not right numbers. About 50 odd members in my membership database that don't have email addresses. And I've done that deliberately to give you a bit of a hint about getting them updated before this afternoon's draw. But yeah, that's the reason why I've got 81 members and I've only got 35 in here. A number of them don't have email addresses in. So make sure you update those email addresses. And here's insights, which I've already talked about, but we'll go over that a little bit later on. All right, let's get into here. So when you come into email campaigns, you've got a few options. You can view by drafts. So this is a draft that I have pre-done, and I can now go back and edit that. I can also copy the draft, and I can also copy sent ones as well. That's really good if you want to use that template and go back in and just edit some of the content. And I'll show you how to do that. I have one that's scheduled. So in my training prior to this session today, I scheduled one, and that's going to go out on Monday morning at 9 AM. So I'll show you how to do that. I haven't sent anyone through here because I didn't want my members to get it while I was doing training. In my training, I have deleted a few, so they're here. You do have the option to restore them. And the beauty of that is then you can copy that if you like the way you've set up that email. All right, I'm not going to edit this one. I'm going to start a new one from scratch. So I'm going to go up to here, create a new campaign. All right, so you need to define the campaign and your sender details. So name this campaign. So today I'm going to send a newsletter to my members. I'm going to give it the date because when I go back and see it in there, I want to know this is the email that I sent out on that date. Okay, if you click on subject now, that's going to come straight down. And if you look what I mean by the subject, I'm going to go into my email. I've got a Gmail account as well. That's what they're going to see there. BowlsLink test preview is the subject. Okay, and pre-header, I'm just going to call it HBC latest news. And in here, that's the pre-header, BowlsLink test. Okay, who's sending this campaign? I'm going to change my name to Hawthorn Bowling Club. Now, you need to keep it here as no reply, and you can't change this. So people are going to see it not as if it's come from who sent it will be Hawthorn Bowling Club, but it actually needs to be set at this. And this is to, as it says over here, it's set up for the best result. So you'll get less bounces, and Mel will talk about bounces a little bit later on. You can, though, set up a reply address. So I'm going to set up this is my reply address. So when people get the email, they can reply to the club. But you need to set it as no reply and at bowlslink.com.au. Okay, hit next. All right, here's where I can grab my template, and you'll see that I can use recent emails. I can also click on my templates. Now, Bowls Australia have put in a basic template in here. We have asked Bowls Australia if they can give us a few more to help you, but as I'll show you, you can move things around. So I'm going to use the Bowls Australia template today for my email. All right, I'll go through a lot of this. This is setting up your email. So firstly, there's an image up here, and I like to put my club logo. So I'm going to hit edit. Now you'll get used to this process. What you need to do is you need to take that image out by clicking and hitting remove image. Then you need to choose your image from a file. Now I've obviously preloaded a lot of this. Now I've got a HBC logo there, but that's 265 by 253 megapixels. That's actually too big when I add it in, so I've actually had to resize it, and I've got it to 100 by 95. Open, and there's my logo sitting nicely. It does look really good if you've got a wide logo. Actually looks a lot better in there than just a small box. I click up here and I hit save. Next step I'm going to do is I'm going to go over and change my email date. So at the moment, if I was to send this, it would just say email date. So I hit edit. I can type it in, but what I like to do is I like to personalize it. Go down here to dates, and I put the current day, the current month's name, and the current year. And I hit save. You won't see that at the moment, but when we preview, hopefully it will say today's date. Okay, let's go through some of the features. Now I will be sending out a manual for all our members that are on today, and our manual does explain all the features, but I'll try and go through them today and explain what they are. First thing I've got here is a hero banner. Basically, it's an image that is the full width of your email. Okay, to add an image into there, we hit edit. And again, like we did at the top, I'm going to have to remove that image and choose my image. Now I've created this one previously in Canva. It's a pretty simple program to use. Now you might not want an image that is that high, you might just want the width of that. And I'm going to hit save changes. Okay, next bit over here, we've got add new. This is where you add new content to this email. So I'm going to click the drop down arrow. There's my hero banner. I don't want to add another one of those. And today I'm just going to add all of these in order so I can show you what they are. So the next one is an insert banner. A little bit different to our hero. It doesn't take up the full width. Okay, so again, to do that process like we've done before, remove the image, choose a file. And I'm going to put the Bowls Victoria one in. And save. Okay, there's one thing I don't like at the moment is my hero banner being so close to this image. So if I go up to here, add new, I can put, which is another option, a space, which is clear. I don't know why you would want to put a name to that. So I just leave it and hit save. Okay, next one is a dual image. So you might just want to display two images in your email. Come up to here, the same process again. Now the top one is your left image, the bottom one is your right. So remove the image, choose your file. Probably good to have these already in. I'm going to use that image. for my left, and I'm going to remove image, choose file, and I'm going to use this one for my right, and save changes. Okay, again, we've got those not enough gaps there, so I could come to here and hit add space clear and save. I might want to add a space that has a line to separate some content that's in my email, so I can look at that next one and add space line and save. All right, let's go through a few other features. Okay, so we've done hero, insert, banner, dual images. We've looked at space clear and space line, headline. All right, we've got Zoom trivia tonight. So I'm going to put a headline in there. You can make that a link if you'd like to. I don't want to, so I'm just going to hit save. Okay, the next one, and these probably go well together, is a headline and a content block. You'll see there's a bit of Latin there for those people who know Latin. All right, I'm going to explain about my Zoom trivia. So I've got a few options here. First thing I can, looks like it's centered, so I can put it on the left. I can change the font of some of the text, sorry, the color. I might want to make the text a bit larger. And I obviously got numbers there and bullet points. So I hit save, and there's my content. Okay, the next one in the series is a button, and they probably all do go well together. I might want to give my members a link to Zoom. So I hit button. Now I can keep it as editable button, but I'm going to change it to click here. And I hit save. Actually, no, before I hit save, at the moment, that's going to go to bowls.com.au. So if I hit edit link, that's where I can put my Zoom link in. I won't do that. And I hit save. Now, again, I might want to add a space in there. I might go the space line, separate it, and hit save. Okay, there's a couple more that we'll go through, and then we'll look at the next part. So we've got button, we've got article dual. Now, this is really good if you want to direct someone to a website, so don't put your full article in there. You might have something that's loaded on your website, and you're going to use your newsletter to let your members know about this. All right, like before, top one is left. So I'm going to put my image in there. It's saying 240 by 100. If my image is not that, it will resize it, and Mel will talk about that when she comes in. Remove image, choose file. I might want to inform my members about COVID. And remove image, choose file. I might talk about our club bowls. Okay, so I can now change those headings. COVID update. And club bowls. Like before with the content, you can do all that editing in here, but you will notice that read more is a link. So to link text, highlight it and click over to insert, and then you can do your link through there. So this is already set up with that. So it's got read more. I hit save, and there's my dual article. Don't have all the information there. I'm going to send them off somewhere else to read more about it. Okay, got one more to go through, and that's our article single. Okay, so if I just want to talk about one thing here and not two at the same time, again, you're going to have to remove that image and upload your one. I might want to talk about Are You OK Day. I'm going to change the heading. And again, I can do all that. Like the content before, I can add all my text in there. I can even link if I want to direct them to a particular website. Hit save. All right, so we'll go through all that content again. So that was the hero banner, insert banner, dual images. That's our headline, our content block, and our button. This is a dual article. So two articles, two topics next to each other. So there's your images, headline, and your content, and that's a single article. So they're all the options you've got. Down the bottom, you can edit, share, and follow us. So hit edit, and you can link that to your socials. And save. All right, I'm pretty happy with that. So now the next part is previewing. So I'm going to go hit preview up here, and see how the date's now been put in there. Again, I suggest a wide logo is probably better than just a square. Now there is an issue here. I looks like I've lost all those spaces that I was trying to put in. This did happen to me in training, but it didn't happen in the actual email. So we'll just check to see whether that happens in the email. Again, I might log that as a bug. If I'm not happy with the preview, I can go back here and make more changes. Also, when we send the test, you can also go back in and make changes. But that's looking quite good, apart from those spaces I wanted. All right, next bit is defining who this email is going to go to. All right, you'll see my email channels here now. So I'm going to select that one because I want it all, even though it's only 35 subscribers. And I'm going to hit next. Okay. This is a snapshot of your campaign, so you can now go back and edit any of those things that if you needed to change them. I want to change who my recipients are. If I'm not happy with the design, I might have made a mistake in here. You can always go back. All right, we've got two options here now. This is the as I scheduling, so I can schedule a delivery, but before I do that, it's always good to send yourself a test. So click send test. Now in my practice, I've already sent myself one, so I'm already there. If I'm not there, you'll just put your email address in. So I'm going to tick that, and I'm going to hit send test. Now I've already done this before. So I'm going to go into my email, and this is what the test looks like. So Hawthorn Bowling Club, I'm happy with that. Obviously it would say HBC newsletter and the date, and my pre-text would be a little bit different. Click on that to see what it looks like. And right, looks like those spaces haven't updated. So I'd be reporting that as a bug. I might check to see the reply goes to my club's email address, and it does. Excellent. All right, let's say I'm happy, but I'm not because one of those spaces in there. We'll go back in and let's look at delivering this to our members. So hit next. All right, we've got two options here. We've got send it now, if I'm happy with my test, or maybe I'm doing this on Thursday night and I want it to go out Friday morning. So I can schedule for later. So if I want to send it now, I tick that and go down here and send campaign now. But let's pretend I'm working on this on Thursday. I'm going to schedule for later. I tick this and specify my date. So I want that to be the 5th. I don't want it to go out at 10. I want it to go at 9 AM. Happy with the time zone. It will send me a confirmation email to say that it's gone out, which is good. And then I just hit schedule this campaign. And now it's saying it's scheduled, and I can also go back and make changes before the actual schedule date. Now, one thing I probably didn't mention is what I like to do with tests is I then like to forward that to my committee and see if they like the newsletter, and if they're happy with it, or if there's changes that they suggest, I can go back in and change it. So that's just a bit of a trick that I like to do. Once that test comes to me, then I send it out to my committee just to get the tick off. All right, I'll just check that. Okay, so because I haven't sent it, I can't see a lot of insights into that email. But if I wanted to, I could come in here and see how many people have opened, how many have bounced. So that's the insights part there. The only last thing I'd probably show is if I wanted to copy. I've now got 2 that are scheduled. I'd go here to copy. Taking a little bit of time, but what's going to happen here is that I might be happy with that one on how I've laid it out, but I'll just go in here and edit, and I can click edit here and change all those details. All right, I think that's, we'll just go back and check to see if I've ticked off all our learning intentions. So I've talked about member groups and how important they are now for emails. It's obviously pretty straightforward to access the email campaigns in your BowlsLink account. I created an email from scratch using the BA template, but if I was doing this again, I would probably grab the one I've done last and copy it. We can define who we're going to send it to pretty easily. I chose to send it later because I was doing it the day before, where sometimes you might want to use the send now. And I would have liked to have shown you a bit more of the insight feature, but you'll see a lot of it once you start to send those emails out. All right, I might bring in Mel now. All right, so Mel, if you want to...
Hi everyone, I think you should be able to hear me now. Matt, can you just confirm that you can hear?
Yes, I can hear you. Thanks, Mel.
And if you want to, I'm happy for you to turn on my camera because I don't have the ability to do that. But hi everyone. Matt, I wonder whether you can just share your screen back to the Insights feature just so that we can show our participants what it actually looks like.
Yep. Sorry, I'm having a little bit of trouble putting your video on, Mel. So if you're happy,
that's okay.
So click on Insights.
Yeah, so we've had a couple of questions about what reports are available and what you can see after the email has gone out. So in this Insights area, there is some basic information about each of the campaigns that you send. So you'll be able to see there how many were sent, how many opened it, and whether any bounced, and you'll be able to click into those areas as well. So in this live example, I'm sorry, we don't have the ability to do that, but we'll include some of this information in the manual for you. So for any of you that do currently use a bulk email software for your club emails, you'll be used to seeing this type of information. In BowlsLink, it's quite basic, but it should give you all the information that you need. And if you are finding along the way that you're not seeing enough information, just log it as a bug or a request, or send an email to Matt or myself, and we'll try to get more functionality added along the way. So at the moment we've got just the one template in there for you to use, which is not necessarily intentional, but because we've just got this email campaign system online now for clubs to use, there is just the one template, but we'll have, as I said, more functionality coming, and it's probably a great idea anyway to start with the one template. For those of you who don't have much experience using these types of systems, it's a great place to start. And you can see from Matt's demonstration that it really is very easy to use, and you should be able to get all the content that you need to for your members into that template. A few pointers, and to answer a couple more questions that I've seen coming through, and I can see there's quite a few more there. Matt, perhaps you can be scanning some of those questions now while I'm talking. We've just received this morning actually the recommended image sizes for all of those placeholders where you'd be putting images. So we'll include that in the manual for you. So we've now got just the right size that you should be using so that the images display as best as they can across different platforms. So on that topic, obviously people are reading emails these days on many different types of devices and using different types of accounts. So for example, in Matt's preview where he had added some blank spaces and lines in between his images, and it didn't show up in his Gmail email. Now, we have reported that as a bug, so we're hoping that that will be fixed, but you'll probably find that someone viewing that email on via an Outlook account or even on their mobile phone, that will actually view quite fine. So we do know that Gmail accounts for all these types of bulk emails, regardless of whether you're using BowlsLink or some people might be using MailChimp or others, that's a common thing, unfortunately. So what you can do to get around that is the logo at the top, for example, where we've got a little square space, which is actually, it's a rectangle space, so it could go twice as wide as the logo that Matt's got there in his example. You could actually remove that box altogether, and you could incorporate your logo into that top hero banner image where Matt's got his team and his Hawthorn Bowls Club. So you could create yourself an image that's got your logo embedded into it, and that becomes the top of every email that you send out. There's a couple of questions around how do you do that if you're not experienced with photo or image editing. We can recommend a website called Canva, and we'll include this in the menu. You can register for a free account, and it's got some great tools in there for you to work with images, even if you've got no experience whatsoever.
To interrupt, Mel.
Yep.
That image I've created at the top there, that was in Canva. So right. All I started with was the picture, and I was able to put a background and float the text on the top. And it didn't take too long to try and work that out. Excellent.
And then even the where we saw dual images and articles with images, a great starting point is to make sure that you're just using the same shape and size image. So regardless of the actual pixel size, if you're trying to do dual images, then use two images that are both vertical or both horizontal. So don't use one tall image and one short image. try to use images that are the same, and images from your phones, your iPhones, or whatever phone you're using will be fine. Just try to keep it consistent with the shape of image that you're using if you're putting two next to each other. And Matt, if you can scroll down a little bit to where you added in your "Are you okay?" image. So you can see there that Matt's used a shorter image there, but he's got quite a bit of text on the right. So, common sense prevails here. If you're using a small image, it might go with just a small bit of text. And the two articles above that, that text could go on and on and on. So you might end up with one on the left that's got a lot of text and is really long, and one on the right that's quite short. So again, try to keep your text consistent when you're doing articles, just so that you get the best viewing experience for your emails. Where you can see the read more there, as Matt mentioned, if you do have a club website and you're doing news articles, or you want to share something perhaps that Bowls Victoria have done a news article about, that's a great way to do it. Just put a little paragraph summary text, and then you link back out to the longer articles so that your emails don't go on and on forever with a lot of scrolling. So as we know, most people are probably reading these days on their mobile phone, so you don't necessarily want to sit there and scroll forever and a day. So
Mel, sorry
Yep.
to interrupt again. A lot of people are asking about that Canva. It's Canva, C-A-N-V-A.
And I'll type that into...
Unless you want me to show you the website.
I'll type that as an answer, and all of these answers will actually get recorded in the webinar.
Now, I had a really good... Sorry, you got a little bit more to go? Because there was one more question I think was relevant to size of images.
No, look, I think that was a little bit of a summary that hopefully will help people. The website is Canva, CANVA.com. Very simple to just set up an account and start using that right away.
What software
I think that's everything that I had to cover off, unless there's more specific questions.
Yeah, well, I've got one here. What software would you use to resize your images?
You should also be able to do that in Canva.
Okay.
However, for those of you taking photos on your iPhone, you'll know that you can actually edit photos right within your iPhone. So if you've got an image that you've taken that's in landscape mode, so it's wide rather than tall, and you want to turn it into a square shape, you can do that and crop that directly on your iPhone. So it's a really good idea to get all your images ready to go before you sit down to start creating your newsletter, and just have a bit of an idea in mind of what images you want to use and the stories that you're going to write, and get that all ready. But as a general rule, as you can see with that COVID and the bowl that Matt's got in the template, square shapes work really well.
Excellent. There was one more, Mel. Documents, inserting documents. I haven't done a lot of that yet in the system. I know I would probably add it to my Google Drive folder and then get a link through there. I might have to ask the developers, what would you do, Mel, with inserting documents?
Yeah, look, we're restricted a little bit there. If you do have the article or the document saved online somewhere, like Matt suggested, in a Google Drive or a Gmail, a Google folder, somewhere where it's stored online, you can use the link where you see the read more. You can put whatever text you like there, and you can link straight out to it. Or if you've got a document that's housed on your club website, you can link out to it. So our recommendation would be that, hopefully clubs are also getting on board with the club websites that are available through the BowlsLink system as well. And all of your important club information and documentation should be housed on your website, and then you can link out to it from an email. But yeah, as Matt said, there will be more functionality coming. So we'll ask that question about documents that perhaps aren't available online.
Now, putting club pennant results into these emails, you would be linking to the portal, the Bowls Victoria portal.
Yes, so yep, if it's a Sunday and you're looking for the results from Saturday, the results will be online on the Bowls Victoria website, so you'll be able to link to that.
Yep, and I know Bowls Victoria this year are going to give a lot more access to grabbing particular divisions and being able to use that in their websites as well. Yes,
that's right. So for my club, for example, I am using the Bowls Australia free website option, and I've created an area there where I'm going to list our club's pennant results once we get up and running, and it'll link directly into the Bowls Victoria website.
We might go with one last one, Mel, and I know you showed me how to do this with MailChimp, personalising emails.
Yes, there is an option back on, it's probably one of the first steps when you're creating.
I might go back into one of my emails.
Yes, it's in there. I'm just looking to see where it is. Perhaps in the campaign and sender, Matt, right at the very start, I think it was, you can personalise.
Oh, here? Insert personalisation?
That's right, yeah.
Okay.
And also you can tick the box in the next section down, use personalisation.
Okay.
Yep.
Excellent. All right, I think that probably ticks off most of our questions, Mel. Thanks for coming on today and giving those expert tips. I know I've already learned a few things that I'll be applying to my my emails.
Yeah, great. And I can see there probably still are some questions that we haven't answered. So we will go through all of those after the webinar today, and we'll make sure that they do all get answered.
Yeah, and we will be, there's been a few questions about people who have missed the previous webinar, didn't know about it, which gives us some information about communication. But Mel and Josh have been doing some great work behind the scenes on our website. So if you now go to Club Assist, you'll see underneath our regional bowls managers, who are also another great resource. We now have a BowlsLink page, and you'll see probably too big of a picture of myself there, but you'll see a short video that I did about updating members' details, and there is all the first webinar. Josh has also broken it up into parts, which is fantastic. It is a 55-minute webinar, so if you just want to watch groups and categories or certifications, you can go click on straight on that link. And our second webinar, which is being filmed today, will be uploaded here. So, all right, I think that ticks off pretty much all for today. If you're needing any more support, obviously my name's Matt Ottobre. That's my details. They are on our Bowls Victoria webpage. So you can send me an email or give me a call. And yeah, thank you for joining. I'm blown away by having over 110 people on today. So it's fantastic. Keep up the great work, and hopefully we'll be on the greens really soon. Thank you.